Oh, my goodness. I'm going to let you say the middle name.
Ratanacharoensiri.
That is a lot. Ratanacharoensiri had to say it in the microphone for our table spotter. And he's laughing, too.
Ratanacharoensiri.
All right, all you. That's all you. Michael Braverman and Elliot Darrow. Those ones are much easier on your left. Against Jerry Thompson, Ali Warfield, and Nick Prince on your right. We're going to start with Pioneer, it looks like. Mono Red Squad on your left. A little bit different stuff on your right. And actually, I really want to check Jerry T's deck list really quick here because we've got it listed as Simic Titan, which means there may be no amulets in there. And there are no amulets. Okay. So, my apologies for a minor mistake there. But these players will be given the green light here in just a moment, and we are going to start with Warfield versus
Ratanacharoensiri.
Should I just say the first half? You say the second half?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Ratanacharoensiri.
Don't ever let anyone tell you our job's not tough. It's brutal in here. Ratanacharoensiri. I got it. Also, if you say it fast, no one can say you're saying it wrong. That's my trick. You been playing any mono red strategies across any formats there, bud?
All of them.
Yeah. Are you still doing the legacy queues too?
A little bit.
No, stop.
A little bit. We'll fire it up later.
Stop losing the tickets in legacy. They gave you a third format to play. Soulscar Mage is going to get fatal pushed here by Ali Warfield. This Dimir Inverter deck is the deck that many are talking about right now in Pioneer. An island and a new one from Theros Beyond Death. And now here's a Thought Eraser. So, let's check it out. We got a Goblin Chain Whirler, Chandra, Torch of Defiance, Torbrand, Bone Crusher Giant, Abbot of Carroll Keep, Wild Slash, and most importantly, not a second land.
This hand is extremely bad.
It's not a great hand.
It is acceptable if you know your next 3 draw steps are mountains. So we'll stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. That's right. As Brian Gottlieb has walked away from the coverage area. He's out of here. And we'll select Wild Slash. And it's like Castle Lockmane is going to head to the graveyard from the Surveil. We'll go back over. And
big draw.
That's a Monastery Swiftspear is what
that'll
it is.
Play.
That is a spell that
that'll play.
That could be played. You are correct. No argument here. The follow-up. Is that a Jace Vryn's Prodigy?
Yes.
I knew it. I've seen that card before.
Makes sense with Warfield selecting the Wild Slash on the previous turn. Still big draw to a land this turn to enable Stomp. Looks like Ratanacharoensiri does not have it.
Just another Swiftspear. Clean block there if Ali wants to make it, and we head back her way with an active Jace and 3 cards in the graveyard. See the lands here for Ali. It's a who's who of blue and black lands. That's going to be a Fabled Passage, a key card in the Pioneer format. Fetid Pools, Drowned Catacombs, Choked Estuary. A lot of people talk about how allied color decks don't have great mana. It's fine to me.
I don't know. There's plenty of duels, and they're going to make more of them. And just calm down. Yeah. I cannot have fun playing these games unless it involves Underground River. Yeah. It's like, come on. I don't believe you.
A Jace activation means that Jace will be transforming in just a moment as the 5th card is going to be headed to the graveyard. Warfield thinking about discarding a Thoughtseize, but it's going to go with another Jace instead, it appears. So now Jace will transform. Telepath Unbound will now join the battlefield. And it will have 2 loyalty. So we're going to recast a Fatal Push from the graveyard. So graveyard is a resource here for Ali Warfield and a key component of the Dimir Inverter deck. Now here is a Thoughtseize. Get a better look at Ratanacharoensiri's hand. And again, we know that there's not a second land in there, so perhaps Abbot of the Carroll Keep will be the selection. You could also make an argument here for Bone Crusher Giant as well.
Yeah, I guess I would prefer the Bone Crusher Giant. It's the most threatening thing to happen next turn if Ratanacharoensiri draws a land, but I don't know.
Well, there's an attack for just 1, so Jace is going to fall down to 1, which leads me to believe that a land has not been drawn. So we're heading back Allie Warfield's way. Allie's going to play an opt on the end step and now is untapping and drawing. Brazen Borrower in hand, among other things. Jace Telepath Unbound, pardon me. Looks like it's going to plus. Is going to slow down that Monastery Swift Spear. And now the follow-up is going to be a Jace Wielder of Mysteries. So we've got 2 Jaces on the battlefield. We're going to take a look at the bigger Jace as it's going to plus.
2 mountains.
Those get milled on over. You see target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard, and Allie got to draw a card, so Jace is up to 5. The -8 here says draw 7 cards, then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. And, of course, the static text is if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. So
Another combo piece, and also just kind of works in a control deck. Decks in the market for kind of both elements. Are you playing a normal game or are you playing a combo game? And the Jace plays well in either.
Yeah, and that's kind of the key of this Dimir Inverter deck is that it does like to play both sides. As now Allie's going to be exiling 6 cards from the graveyard and playing the incredibly powerful Dig Through Time. Many feeling, especially Ryan Overturf, our colleague, that this might be the next card to go in Pioneer.
I suspect is an issue more of when than if.
Yeah.
I don't mind kicking the tires on this and see if the format can handle it. Certainly there's an interesting experiment to see what these cards look like in the absence of Polluted Delta, which Dig Through Time in Standard was legal alongside the fetch lands, and then in the older formats has been the case as well. So it's a more modest power level here, but still incredibly good.
Dig Through Time has resolved, so now only 1 card left in the graveyard. Jace Telepath Unbound is going to plus on that Monastery Swift Spear again. Now we're going to have Allie draw a card and mill over a couple of cards there for our mono-red aggro player. Ratanacharoensiri Ruins among them. And now here is a Thought Eraser. So, going to get another look at the hand. Again, you're going to find no lands.
Remains extremely bad.
It is a truly, truly horrible hand. 4 4-drops, 2 Chandra, 2 Torbrands, and a Chain Whirler left over.
So even a land here is not worth all that much.
It's a step in the right direction, one could say.
Nah, it could compel him to play it out.
Yes.
Hoping he drew
I was curious
four.
when we were going to shift the narrative of this game.
I was hoping they'd draw another 4.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Perhaps a lightning strike.
Back to Warfield we go. Now plus the Jace. Plus the other Jace. Mill a Torbrand and a Mountain, draw a card. Finally found an Inverter of Truths. That's one piece to this combo puzzle.
But Warfield in no rush to do anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Her position is extremely dominant. But the other hand, you know, we know that Ratanacharoensiri's hand is quite bad also, so maybe he just go for it. I don't know. We'll find out in a moment.
There is the Inverter of Truth. A card we'll take a look at here in just a moment. 4-mana 6/6 flyer. It can kill you just normally. Honestly.
Oh, yeah. The beatdowns.
Yeah, when Inverter Truth enters the battlefield, you exile all cards from your library face down, then shuffle all cards from your graveyard into your library. So now it's just a 3-card deck. There's a Jace on the battlefield. And it's not very hard to win from here because it is worth mentioning that the 6/6 is just a lot for a red deck to get through.
Yep.
Especially when your hand is all 4-mana spells. Wild Slash, take that, Jace. I'll show you, I guess.
Big turn.
There is a Mountain. Yeah, I think passing's okay when we know every card in your hand.
Yeah, I like to pass here.
Allie will draw. Going to mill herself with Jace, draw a card, and win the game. So, Allie Warfield's going to win game number 1 here over
Ratanacharoensiri.
Thank you, sir. As Demir Inverter is up a game here over Mono Red Aggro. You see the rest of our scoreboard. Thompson and Braverman are still battling in game number 1, as are Prince and Darrow. So we take a look at the sideboards here, and we will start with Ratanacharoensiri. I can do it too. 4 Elan of the Great Revel, 3 Tormod's Crypt, 2 Legion Warboss, 2 Chandra's Defeat, 2 Lava Coil, and 2 copies of Fry. What do you like here, and why?
I like the Eidolons of the Great Revel and the Legion War Bosses. You just got to get a little bit faster here. Ratanacharoensiri's build of mono red here, I think, is probably pretty good against other red decks with a lot of good 4s. But here there's more of a burden on just speed and efficiency. And so I would like to cut some of the clunkier 4s and just get a little bit lower to the ground. Eidolon and Legion War Boss, if they survive, are both the damage versus mana ratio is extremely good on those cards if they survive.
Other side of things here for Ali Warfield, 3 Mystical Dispute. Not for this matchup. Same can be said for Unmoored Ego and Thief of Sanity. 2 Infernal Reckoning, a Kalitas Trader of Get. I think that one will come in. Well, the Hero's Downfall, a Legion's End, a Noxious Grasp, a Ritual of Soot, and a Cry of the Carnarium.
Some blend of Cry of Carnarium, Ritual of Soot, Legion's End, and the Kalitas, I think, will all come in for this matchup.
Fair enough. Well, there you do see the options for both of our players. Game number 2 will be underway here in just a bit. You'll see Jerry Thompson have a nice little chat there with Ali Warfield. Take a look at our Season 1 schedule for the SCG Tour. We made an announcement on StarCityGames.com yesterday in the new section of our brand new website that went over completing the season and all the formats that the Season 1 will have. Patrick's going to run them down right now.
Well, we're Team Constructed here in Richmond, and after that, Philadelphia for Team Constructed, Pioneer in Indianapolis. The regional championships, that's March 7th. That will be Modern. You can head over to go.starcitygames.com/regional for more information. We should have all the information for that event coming up on the website this Friday, so be on the lookout for that. After that, Baltimore will be Pioneer. Syracuse will be Modern. After Syracuse, if Rob here wants to get his act together, we're going to check out that
tech issue.
Atlanta will be Pioneer. Worcester, Team Constructed again. Cincinnati, Modern. Team Pioneer Open in Louisville, a Pioneer, individual Pioneer Open in Philadelphia, and then SCG Con Summer featuring the Star City Games Invitational, June 11th through 14th in Roanoke, Virginia.
SCG Con Summer is going to be a blast. We'll have more information about that as well soon enough, folks, but there you go. You can get your plans made. Come join us here on the SCG Tour in many, many, many different places. Jerry Thompson versus Michael Braverman is where we're going to head to next. Get our eyes on Mono Red Prowess versus Simic Titan in Modern. Jerry T, someone who has, of course, done incredibly, incredibly well on the SCG Tour. Multiple-time Invitational champion. Only player to ever go undefeated in the Swiss portion of an Open. 2016 SCG Atlanta. I was there. I was his round 14 victim, unfortunately for me. An avatar token, among many other things here on Star City Games. A Pro Tour champion. Let's not forget about that. Pro Tour Amen Ket winner with Mono Black Zombies. A Pro Tour runner-up. A Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan, losing in the finals with Mardu Pyromancer back then. If there's a Magic accomplishment to be had, he's just about done it, Patrick.
He's done it all.
He really, really has.
Top to bottom. And now, in the state of, what would we call it? Semi-retirement?
I call it hibernation.
Hired gun, mercenary.
Yeah.
Adventurer. Out here on a lark.
That's right. Wanted to play some Magic. Was convenient for him to do so here this weekend in Richmond. Has played alongside Ali Warfield and Nick Prince before, so got the band back together. And now here they are. Currently leading in the match as Prince and Warfield are up a game. Braverman up a game here, though, as Thompson is on a mulligan to 6. It looks like he's figuring out what card to put back with the London mulligan. So these players will be given the green light, and we are underway with the incredibly powerful and fun Once Upon a Time.
The loading screen,
yes,
as I've heard it referred to.
Thompson will take a look at the top 5 cards.
Waiting.
Jerry taking a look at his hand before making his decision with Simic Titan. And this Once Upon a Time, he'll go with a Simic Growth Chamber.
Once Upon a Time is like taking a second London mulligan.
It can feel that way. This is a Castle Garenbrig. And Thompson will pass the turn back over to Braverman. Braverman with a Mountain. That is a Soulscar Mage. And we'll head back to Jerry T, who will untap that castle and draw a card. Looks like Primeval Titan may have been the draw step there. This is an Arboreal Grazer. Cinder Growth Chamber will come down from that. He'll pick up Castle Garenbrig. Castle Garenbrig will be the land for the turn. And Thompson will pass the turn back. So we're going back over to Braverman now, who does have a 1-drop in that Soulscar Mage, and we'll see what his second turn yields. Another Mountain. And our follow-up is Manamorphose. So, trigger on the Soulscar Mage. It's 2-3 now. Braverman will draw a card. Most likely red floating. And now here comes Soulscar Mage. Well, clean block. Can't get anything by the old veteran.
Yep, still got it.
We're going to go back to Thompson now. Let's see what Thompson's third turn is.
Love that block.
Here's another Once Upon a Time.
No fear of gut shot.
Respect that. Take a look at the top 5 cards again here, Will Thompson, before selecting one. Looks like it's going to be a basic forest.
Basic forest here, not a bad find for Thompson, as I believe Braverman is setting up for a Blood Moon next turn.
Well, there's a Valakut. And passing the turn back. Blood Moon would be a very, very important one here for Braverman. Does make these Primeval Titan base decks a lot worse, as there is a Mountain. This is a Blood Moon. And that may cause some problems here for old Jerry T. Soulscar Mage is going to work its way in. Another great block.
Love that block.
That's right. But can Jerry wiggle his way out of this situation here because his lands have been shut off?
I think he's working with both a forest and an island, so does slow down his development a little bit here. He's down the 2 mana from the Growth Chamber and the implied 2 mana from Castle Garenbrig, but he at least has some basics to be able to play through this.
Now, Thompson does have answers to a Blood Moon that's on the battlefield. Reclamation Sage is one. Ether Gust is another. Yes, sir.
Just thinking about Blood Moon. Takes me back. It's been a while. I haven't seen it.
Blood Moon's good now.
Yeah.
It's really, really good right now. Lot to like.
There it is.
The Old Faithful.
Been playing with this one since that date there on the bottom.
All right. Well, Thompson's going to Summoner's Pact. I mean, this has the ability, of course, to go get Reclamation Sage, play a basic forest, blow it up. He could also go get Dryad if he wants to right now as well. So I'm curious to see what Jerry's plan is here because, of course, if he can't pay the Summoners Pact, he loses the game.
There is some risk in getting anything, basically anything that does not blow up Blood Moon is risky to get because you're not totally confident in your ability to get to double green next turn, even if you had some basics. So not surprising to see a Reclamation Sage here as the option. I believe there is still some risk in Thompson's ability to pay for the pact here if Braverman has another copy of Blood Moon.
Another Blood Moon, the game ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the concern. Unless, of course, Thompson does have, with this 2 mana available, an Ether Gust.
Right.
You know, then he's okay.
Given that he has a forest, strikes me as extremely risky to lose to the pact here in a spot where it wasn't like you were totally cut off by a Blood Moon.
Braverman's going to play a Sunbay Canyon, a Patrick Sullivan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Draw a card.
What else do you want to do? Makes red or white mana, already listening, already picking up the phone. Deals damage to yourself, love that. Ooh.
I think Killing Fiend. Looks like somebody's interested in dealing a lot of damage. Thompson now is going to pay for the Summoner's Pack. So he gets to keep on moving this game as he draws a copy of Misty Rainforest.
The combo with Kiln Fiend here is Crash Through.
Yes.
That is how you kill someone from a very high life total.
Crash Through, of course, granting Trample, as there is the Misty Rainforest that Thompson to draw.
And it is a spell.
Yes.
It is either an instant or a sorcery. Can't recall, but in either event.
It is a sorcery. As giving Trample at instant speed for a single red mana would be lame.
I don't. Sometimes those cantrips they got other weight they're carrying in a file.
Sure.
But yeah, I agree. Most of the time you'd want that one at sorcery speed. In any event, we'll see here if Braverman has the tools to be able to fire off a combo kill through Thompson's blockers. Because you can't imagine it's getting much better for him next turn.
Lava Dart triggers.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
That's the spell. That's how you unlock a whole lot of action.
Soulscar Mage is a 2/3. Kiln Fiend has 4 power.
But you might not get another shot at this next turn, even if you deal a lot of damage this turn.
So every spell we play is going to be +4 damage.
Right.
Yep. So, +4 more. Burst Lightning is going to put 2 -1/-1 counters on the Arboreal Grazer. So we're up to, with just attacks, that'd be 8, 9, 10, 9, 10. So 4 more means that it's going to be 14 with the Lava Dart flashback. Okay.
I mean, if Thompson's on nothing, I suspect this is quite lethal because Braverman still has cards in hand. And
I mean, right now this is an attack for 14 points of damage. Can we make it more? We can't make it more. That means Thompson's going to get another turn. Thompson should fall down to 6. Our Pioneer match is all tied up this time, which means that Ratanacharoensiri found a functional hand. Or mulliganed. One of the two.
We'll never know.
We will never know, but we know it's all tied up in the middle.
His sideboard is good for the matchup, too, cutting a lot of 4s and getting lower to the ground.
Yeah.
And Warfield does not have a lot for the matchup. Her sideboard was a little light there.
Thompson not going to sacrifice the Misty Rainforest, it appears. So, let's draw a card, shall we? Castle Garenbrig. Already got one of those. Well, we know Thompson has a copy of Primeval Titan in hand.
And the problem there for Braverman is that might just lock up the battlefield here, even if he's got more spells to fire off next turn. He'll be looking at basically just Crash Through as a way to break out of this, assuming that Thompson gets Field of the Dead among the options here.
Oh, this is pretty cute. He's going to search up a Drawhead.
Oh.
So you get it.
I do now.
You start
All right. Yep. This is pretty good.
Yeah, so he's got...
So Prismatic Omen is now in effect.
So he's got 3 green mana floating because he did it through the castle.
Yeah. Yeah, this is cool.
I'm curious to see what the plan is here from Jerry. Maybe he made an error. I'm not sure. As his play is currently not as fluid as I thought it would be. All right, so Castle's going to come down. With Valakut on the battlefield, all of these lands are mountains, so that means the Valakut's going to trigger. It's going to shoot the Kiln Fiend. This is another... Oh, right, he gets to play another land because of the
Right, yeah, he gets to clean up everything.
Yeah. And now he's got some manas left over.
And he can tap the Misty Rainforest for mana.
Oh, my goodness. Ugh. I see.
Yeah.
He can tap the Misty Rainforest for mana.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking turn.
You're being modest. You were being modest. Best turn I've ever seen.
It's a good-looking turn.
Yeah. I was like, why is he floating the mana like that? I get it now. Radiant Fountain plus Field of the Dead.
Just wants to keep himself out of any burnout range because he's going to lock up the battlefield and set up a kill for next turn.
We got a couple of triggers here. 1, field. Oh, excuse me. We're gonna have 2 Field of Dead triggers, a Radiant Fountain trigger, 2 Valakut triggers. Okay, so
Black is high, ground's locked up.
So how does Jerry lose this game?
It's looking like Blood Moon.
I believe the answer is Blood Moon. He only has 1 4.
No,
the Dryad.
the Dryad. Yeah,
the Dryad. Never mind.
You need a turn of like Flame Slash plus Blood.
Okay,
plus
sure.
Blood Moon.
Okay. Right. The Dryad saves the day.
So it's all covered, barring some really weird.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have to be really weird. Is right. Yeah, can't. Yeah, you can't do that because Blood Moon's not on the battlefield. So there's Fiery Islet, sack to draw a card.
Trying to think a little bit. Hope to Thompson
misses the pact trigger,
Yeah.
perhaps. One of those. One of those plans. Thompson going to pay the 4. He can pay it with any way that he really wants to because of the Dryad. So there you go. Jerry Thompson going to win game number 2 here against Michael Braverman. Simic, Titan, Mono Red Prowess all tied up. And we just saw a handshake in the middle, I believe, between Ali and
Ratanacharoensiri.
Okay, so we'll get an update on that result. Okay. So we're getting an update here very quickly. It looks like Jerry might be going to the drawing board here, so we'll see. As hopefully this match is not concluded. Looks like Witt took Pioneer 2-1 over Ali Warfield. And we're finding out the Nick Prince Elliot Darrow result. And Nick took the standard match. It broke the way we needed it to.
Yes. We're on game 3-4 match, yes.
That's exciting stuff. Jerry T, Michael Braverman, game 3 for it all in round number 1 right here. We'll get to their sideboards in just a moment, but let's talk about invitational qualifiers, shall we, Patrick?
Talk to me about them.
We're early on here in Season 1 of the 2020 SCG Tour, pardon me. A lot of players want to qualify for the Players' Championship, and this is a step towards doing so. Picking the SCG points and a whole bunch more at IQs.
Oh, yeah, a ton of prizes, including $1,000 cash to the top 8. Invitational qualifications, SCG points, top 8 playmats, and exclusive tokens. So if you're trying to get to the Invitational, if you're trying to grind your way to the Players' Championship, or if you're just looking for a local tournament with a lot of prizes on the line, head over to go.sarcgames.com/IQ and find the IQs closest to you.
Quick little fun note worth mentioning, the interaction between Dryad of the Elysian Grove and Blood Moon. It's a, quote, timestamp thing, unquote. So whichever card enters the battlefield last is the one that takes precedence. So Dryad is first, and then you play a Blood Moon. Blood Moon greater than sign Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Oh, so Blood Moon was still good there.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. It's a little strange, but okay.
Yeah, interesting there that did Jerry have a second forest in his deck?
Well, we can take a little look-ski-poo at the deck list here. He does have 2.
Interesting. Because I would have guessed in that spot
and 2 snow-covered forests.
that it would have been better to get a second forest to insulate yourself from Blood Moon.
With the Misty Rainforest?
No, instead of getting Field of the Dead with the Primeval Titan. I like getting a Radiant Fountain and pulling yourself up to 8 because 2 bolts could, that's not that unlikely to happen.
Okay.
But the notion that you need your zombies there seems very unlikely to me because if you untap with Primeval Titan, it's just dead from everything.
Sure.
So if it works the way that's being described, I would have preferred getting a second forest there to have some protection against Blood Moon.
All right. Fair enough.
Because if the rule is being described correctly to us, that meant that Braverman just going untap Blood Moon would have been a win from there. And I don't think that Thompson really needed the Field of the Dead on top of everything else. But that assumes that the person communicating the rule to us knows the rules, and that also has not always been the case historically. So I don't want to assume that's necessarily the case.
Rules are difficult. There's a lot going on in a game of Magic.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's layers and everything
complicated rule set.
All right. G3 about to be happening in just a moment between Jerry Thompson and Michael Braverman. Braverman will be on the play with Mono Red Prowess, which is where you want to be with this deck in any format. Looking to give some beatdowns. So both these players will take a look at their openers. They'll both keep. Green light. Here we go. It's a mountain. It's a Monastery Swiftspear, and Thompson is down to 19. We're going to head back Jerry's way now for his first turn of the game. See if he has a Boreal Grazer to kick things off, which would be the ideal start.
Yeah, it's tough for Thompson on the draw here because he needs to have a very fast hand, and a lot of his fast hands are vulnerable to Blood Moon. And the Mono Red Prowess deck can be very, very quick to kill against a deck that's light on interaction. I mean, turn 3 is not unheard of, especially with Kiln Fiend. I mean, Kiln Fiend sets you up for a lot of turn 3 kills.
Yeah, it's not too tough to do at all once
No.
Lava Dart works itself into the equation. Heaven forbid multiples. There's a Radiant Fountain to kick things off. Thompson will pass the turn back. He's up to 21. We go back over to Braverman. Now remember, Thompson hasn't played a spell yet, so Once Upon a Time is still able to be played for free. This is a Swiftspear. Tacked for 2. Thompson is going to fall down to 19. Or will he, as a Dismember? It's going to bring him down much lower, but take care of the threat. So Thompson will take a total of 5 that turn. Fall down to 16, and Braverman does not have a second land.
I just think in these matches, it is so when you're playing against decks that have a whole lot of removal, I think keeping some of the speculative one-land hands can be fine because you need all your cards. This is a type of matchup where if you die, it's extremely likely that there's cards left in your hand. Someone just dies really fast. And in that kind of matchup, you can afford to be down a card because the losing player is unlikely to leverage all their cards anyway. So unless Braverman's the ceiling on this hand is just like, no doubt about it, he's dead on turn 3 if I draw land number 2. Even then, I'm loath to keep hands like this with the London Mulligan. It's just so likely you get a functional 6-card hand that can deploy all your resources in time.
Well, here's an attack for 1. As Braverman did draw a land for the turn. And now there is a Kiln Fiend. Now remember, Thompson does have copies of Ether Gust, and he will gust that away. And now Braverman's got to decide if that's going to go to the top or the bottom. On the bottom it will be.
Yeah, I can't imagine thinking that it's going to be good next turn. And if Braverman kept a one-land hand, it means the ceiling on drawing a land next turn is probably really high. How good that looks, so just put it to the bottom.
This will be an Explorer here for Thompson. Picked up a copy of Cavernous Souls. He also has a Valakut, and he does have a copy of Dryad of the Elysian Grove in hand, folks.
Needs to be really mindful about Blood Moon.
There's Valakut. This is Cavern. We'll see what it's naming here in just a moment as Thompson will pass the turn back over to Braverman. Dryad was the name with the Cavern. So we head back Braverman's way for his 4th turn of the game.
Braverman very slowly drawing the card like a person who has a Blood Moon.
And needs a 3rd land.
And needs land number 3.
Yes. I've seen that look before. This is a crash through. Prowess trigger, draw a card. Creatures have trample. See where Braverman goes next. Not going to be able to kill Jerry Thompson this turn, as here is an attack for 2. Thompson's going to take that 2. He's going to fall down to 11. And the follow-up is a Soulscar Mage. Okay. Thompson's going to draw a card. This could get really bad here for Braverman. Because Thompson does have the Dryad in hand, and you already see he does have a Valakut.
Yeah, so that does get him to lands 5 and 6. With 2 Valakuts as part of the experience.
Good use of experience there.
Yeah, it's part of the range.
Yeah. 3 mana. And there is the powerful new Dryad. Card that Dominic Harvey, an SCG Tour stalwart last year, is very, very fond of, saying that it puts these Amulet Titan strategies over the top. Well, excuse me, these Primeval Titan-based strategies. No Amulets in Jerry's deck list here this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's a floor plus ceiling element of this card where if you're playing kind of normal ramp, it plays well there, and then it's also an acceleration for all of your combo kills as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sturdy body. I mean, one of the vulnerabilities of the Titan strategies is just your second, third, fourth turns against aggressive decks are just too soft. And so being able to play something that blocks, it has immediacy. You get your second land on the battlefield straight away. Just all the elements you'd want.
Well, it looks like for Thompson there was no additional land to play, so no Valakut shots just yet.
Good news for Braverman. I mean, he at least gets one more turn here. And if he can get the Dryad off the battlefield, he might be spared multiple turns of worrying about Valakut.
Mm-hmm. Well, here comes some beatdowns. It's going to be with both. And Witt is giving a affirming head nod that he likes Braverman's play.
Well, I don't like blocking.
It's not my favorite. But if you feel like you have to get to another turn, that might be the way to do it. And Thompson does have a copy of Hour of Promise in hand. However, Hour of Promise plus Dryad sets up a crazy turn next turn.
But Thompson can easily die to this attack. I think
very easily.
Burst Lightning plus Lava Dart is 3, and then 3 spells. It's lethal.
Mm-hmm.
And Dart plus Burst Lightning would not be that surprising here, given that Braverman's missing land drops and all of that.
Yeah.
But Thompson has to ask himself, can I do anything next turn in the event that I lose everything?
Yep. Lightning Bolt, of course, is a card you have to think about, too, if you're Jerry Thompson here. There's a lot you have to think about.
Yeah.
So it looks like he will make a block on the Monastery Swift Spear.
But I like this block from Thompson. I think it's just way too likely he dies here if he no blocks. Even if his hand's a bit of a dead end without the Dryad for next turn, I don't think you can just take the hit here.
You can't forget, too, Dryad is a 2/4.
Well, it doesn't take a whole lot here to
no, it does. It does. It takes basically one spell.
One shock.
Yeah. But that's one less shock going to your face. And if you're Braverman, you also have to think to yourself, do I have to kill this Dryad? And my answer is absolutely.
Yes. Well, you know that Thompson's hand is all spells because you certainly would have seen land number 6 last turn if he had it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of spells here that alongside with the Dryad kill you or blow up your entire battlefield, and now you're locked out of combat.
Yep. So
a lot of Thompson's follow-ups next turn are pretty modest here without the Dryad, and they're just really, really, really strong if you leave the Dryad on the battlefield. So I think you have to answer it if you can.
I think you're right. But you see that Braverman is consulting his teammates on exactly what he should do this turn. And he's going to go a reaching now for some mana. Looks like he does have a Lightning Bolt here. Lightning Bolt is going to go, looks like upstairs. So Thompson's going to fall down to 8. This will be a Lava Dart.
So Braverman here is going to kind of do it the other way, which is casting 3 spells. You get the that is 3 prowess triggers for the Swift Spear, and then you kill the Dryad in combat that way.
And you still get a bunch of damage through.
You get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If my count is correct.
I believe that may be true. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I'm with you. Thompson's draw didn't get a great look at it, but we do know he does have a copy of Hour of Promise. Now, I'm not sure how good that card's going to be right now.
Well, you got to answer the battlefield and probably gain some life. It's asking you a lot to do both.
Yep, that is true. And he's already used his Radiant Fountain. Now, he does have the ability here to, I think, well, so here's the hang-up. The hang-up right now appears to be the second Valakut, because you have to think about Field of the Dead here.
Yeah.
You need to have 7 different land names.
So you're describing a scenario where you go like Field of the Dead and Radiant Fountain, or sorry, Simic Growth Chamber and Field of the Dead, and try to like pick up, play your Radiant Fountain, get some zombies, and get yourself up to 4.
Yeah, but if you get Growth Chamber plus Field of the Dead right now,
you're only at 6 lands.
You're not getting any zombies that way, and that's kind of the struggle here. Now perhaps Thompson's got something else rolled up that we don't realize as he's going to resolve his Hour of Promise. He gets to search for any 2 lands that he wants. So there you do see Hour of Promise. Search your library for up to 2 land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. Then if you control 3 or more deserts, create 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, which that aspect of the card is not going to work itself into the equation. And see Thompson consulting with Warfield here.
And to go back to the previous turn there, not surprising, Thompson would have for sure died had he not blocked.
Died by a lot.
But he would have died by a lot.
Yeah. This mono-red prowess deck can deal damage in bunches.
Players at the 11 a.m. Casual Commander and 11 a.m. Other Challenge events. The beginnings of your events are posted at the gathering point. Please make your way to your seats again. 11 a.m.
Thompson very unsure of himself right now on what he wants to grab.
Well, there's a question, you know, he has to be able to beat the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Start there.
Ooh. Growth Chambers, plural. I was not expecting that. Now he's going to play Summoner's Pact to get a Boreal Grazer, play the Grazer, and then play the Radiant Fountain.
So this allows him to beat a Burst Lightning.
Okay. Okay, that's...
No, actually, no. There's still 2 + 2 is 4.
So he's still dead to a 1-mana burn spell.
Yeah.
And Braverman's already loading up. And he's got a burn spell there in Burst Lightning. So you block 1, you take 4.
Yeah, if he's got nothing, then that's it. You can't beat this.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. So Michael Braverman's going to win this game and match for his team. 2-1 as a